Hey guys, hope you've all been doing great. I'm here with a super highly requested video that I'm actually so excited to finally film for you all, and it is part 1 of my skincare routine. In this video, I'll show you my daytime skincare routine for an average day, and also my go-to makeup look for when I don't want a full face of makeup, but I still want to look fresh and put together. To be honest, I really don't wear makeup on a daily basis. I usually show up to class with a bare face, just because it's so early in the morning usually, and I'm happy with my bare face. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy! The very first thing I do for my skin in the morning after I wake up is wash my face. I use the First Aid Beauty Cleanser on a daily basis. This stuff is phenomenal for sensitive skin. It's very gentle and non-drying and not fragranced. It cleanses my skin without stripping off all of its moisture, and I highly recommend it for all skin types. So, okay, at this point my camera did something funky and the video file for the following steps got corrupted, and the next morning when I realized this, I filmed some clips for you guys of the products that I use. So after I finish cleansing, sometimes I like to go in with this Clinique Moisture Surge Moisturizer if I feel like I need a little extra hydration. It has this really cool gel-like consistency and it's very thick, but it absorbs fully into my skin if I apply a thin layer. For daily SPF protection, I use my NARS Tinted Moisturizer. I am absolutely obsessed with this stuff. I don't have enough good things to say about it. The fact that it's not fragranced and doesn't contain any irritating essential oils is awesome, plus it has SPF 30 using titanium dioxide to fully protect my skin from UVA and UVB rays. You can see how nicely it blends out, and I also use a damp beauty blender to help blend it all out. The coverage on this is pretty buildable, so sometimes if I feel like I need extra coverage, I can go in with another layer and then again blend it out with my beauty blender. This product also works really great with primers. I've used it before with my Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer, or I've even used it with my Makeup Forever Mattifying Primer just on my T-zone so that my T-zone doesn't get oily or shiny throughout the day, and it lays beautifully on my skin. The next thing I do after I've finished applying my base is I conceal, and I'm using my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. There's like a really long name for this, so I will list it in my info box with like a link to my blog where I post all the products that I used as well as some drugstore dupes. But anyway, all I do is I apply this concealer very tightly underneath my eyes and on my eyelids to prime for eyeshadow, because that'll help mute out any discoloration or veins. If I feel like I really haven't gotten enough sleep that whole entire week, I'll usually go in with like a salmon colored color corrector just to help mute out any like dark blue or dark purple circles, and then I go over top with my Urban Decay concealer. This stuff has very high coverage, so truthfully I feel like I don't need that color correction, but sometimes I really do. And now we're back to normal video status. I really like using this Becca Liquid Shimmering Skin Perfector. This is their original Shimmering Skin Perfector, and I use the shade Opal to highlight my face. I dab this on the tops of my cheekbones in like kind of a C shape, wrapping around my eyes and eyebrow. And I do continue to build up this product as much as I want. I really love looking super glowy and highlighted. So, as you can see, I kind of go ham. Like, there's a lot of highlighting going on right now. I also use a damp beauty blender just to make sure there aren't any weird areas of splotches on my face. But in general, this highlighter really does glide on very smoothly onto my skin. It doesn't cling to any dry patches or anything, so I absolutely love it. And it is really, truly such a bright, beaming highlight. Even in artificial lighting, it looks good, and then in sunlight, it just glows absolutely phenomenally. I also really love highlighting above my eyebrow arch and on my brow bone as well. I find that these cream products, again, like these, really stay well on my skin just because I do have dry skin, and also I feel like powder, if I don't set it with a setting spray, it just kind of, I don't know, floats away on my skin. It just disappears at the end of the day. And I've lost my highlight, and I love keeping my highlight, so I really like using a cream or liquid highlighter. I will also dab a tiny little amount to my cupid's bow just to make my upper lip look a little fuller. Now that I've finished all my cream and liquid products, I'm going to set my under eyes with my MAC Studio Sculpt Defining Powder in the shade Light Plus, just so that my concealer doesn't crease. I also set my eyelids so that any eyeshadow that I use later on, it doesn't cling to my concealer. And as you can see, I'm just dabbing this in an inward motion so that my concealer doesn't crease. A lot of people, when they set their under eyes, they go outward following the direction of the lines, but you want to go inward so that the powder really gets inside those fine lines and creasing doesn't happen. What I also do is I add this powder underneath where I would contour to add some light to that area. This is a powder that is a few shades lighter than my skin, so when I bring light to this area, it creates that contrast between the shadow of my cheekbone and my jawline area. Next, I'm going to bronze my face using the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion in the shade 30M. I'm taking this on a Real Techniques stippling brush, and I'm just going to lightly contour and bronze my cheekbones and under my jawline and my temples. And as you can see, I clearly love this bronzer with all my heart. I really, I don't know, I use this almost every day when I want to do just bronzing instead of like harsh contouring per se, just because it looks so natural, and it is a matte bronzer sort of, but it has a certain glow to it. It's not like a chalky matte on me. It's, I don't know, it goes very well with all the highlighter I use. I'm also taking this bronzer on an eyeshadow brush and using this as an eyeshadow just to lightly define my crease a little and give my eyes some shape. This is really just a great time saver in the morning if you have to be somewhere and you just want to have a little bit of eyeshadow and eye color. All you do is you just take a bronzer and you just use it as an eyeshadow in your crease, and it works really well. I'm also adding like a little flick at the end just to elongate my eyes a little and give my almond-shaped eyes even more definition. Then I use a clean blending brush just to blend away any harsh lines. I really like making my eyeshadow look very diffused and blown out. Since I'm only using one color here, I am taking my time to really blend it out. I find that when I use a lot of colors, it's easier for me to blend just because there are so many products to work with and you really can blend it out as much as you want, but when you have one color, you really need to take your time. I'm also adding this bronzer on my lower lash line, and then I also connect it to the like smoky flick that I made earlier to unify my upper and lower lash lines, and I am using a Real Techniques angle brush. It's an angle brush, but you can use whatever brush you want. Just to make sure that the lines are connected, I'm taking that same blending brush and just buffing away, to my heart's content, of course. Now I'm taking an Urban Decay eyeshadow in the color Blunt, which is a super beautiful shimmery gold color. I have this inside of a palette, but they're also sold individually. I'm taking this on a flat synthetic brush. I believe this is a brush that is sold with the Naked palettes. I'm using the flat end, and I'm just going to apply this all over my lid. There's really no technique to this. I'm just applying it where the bronzer is not there. This color is definitely one of my absolute favorite eyeshadows of all time. It trumps like every single lid color I own probably, just because it's so creamy and pigmented, and I don't know, just something about it just goes absolutely amazing with my golden undertones. It's not too yellow and it's not too taupey, it's just a beautiful highlight shade for my eyelids, and I can also use it as a cheekbone highlight. I can really build up the intensity as much as I want. I can apply a thin wash of color, and I can also really build it up to a beautiful gold. I'm just using the other end of the Naked brush just to blend away any harsh lines that I accidentally created. I'll also use this blunt eyeshadow color to highlight my brow bone and also my inner corner. I think I have a highlighting problem. I'm watching this footage and I'm like really piling on a lot of highlight. And it's funny because when I was filming this, I was like, yeah, we're just gonna do a very natural look, you know, super natural, like no makeup, but I don't know, when I stand out in the sun, it's like, bing! I could probably signal someone from space because I have so much highlight on. But highlight is my thing, guys. I love highlighting. Like, I love highlighting more than contouring, which means that I am a strobing person, but we're not gonna get into the semantics of it. Now I'm going to apply some mascara and some clear eyebrow gel. I'm using the Maybelline Lash Sensational to make my eyelashes nice and long and fluffy. Mascara has to be my like least favorite part of makeup. I hate putting it on just because it gets all over my eyelid, because even though I'm a grown woman, I still cannot put on mascara for the life of me. But more than that, I absolutely hate taking it off. Like, taking off mascara is like the most tedious task in the world, but this mascara, it flakes off very nicely, I have to say. Like, even with just water without any makeup remover, if I just kind of lightly rub along my lash line very gently, it flakes off completely, and I really appreciate that. I'm totally out of the frame here, but all I'm doing is applying lower lash mascara and probably failing horribly. Now I'm just going to comb through my brows with my e.l.f. clear eyebrow gel just to make sure that the hairs don't move. Now I'm just going to finish off this look by lining my lips with a NYX lip liner in the shade Natural and a Buxom lip gloss in the shade Yow. Like Y-O-W, yow. Now, against my better judgment, I decided to tightline my upper waterline to make my lashes look more full. And guys, I'm going to be really honest, I am very much struggling. But I am using the Urban Decay Perversion eyeliner, and it is super black and super creamy and very easy to work with. But I mean, I'm really trying not to cry here. Can you see me? I'm just like, don't cry, don't cry. Okay, we're good. I I did mess up a little and I got some of that eyeliner on my eyelid, so I'm just going to take some of that blunt eyeshadow and cover up my mistake. To set my face, I'm going to use my Urban Decay Chill Makeup Setting Spray. I have to mention this perfume because it is my baby, and it is the Marc Jacobs Daisy Dream perfume. It's so fresh and girly without being too overbearingly sweet. I do like the original Daisy scent, but for summertime it's too much, you know, like with the heat and the humidity, wearing Daisy is just kind of suffocating, but this is like a breath of fresh air. Alright, so that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about my daytime skincare routine and go-to makeup routine. Of course, if I plan on being out in the sun all day, I will wear a sunscreen with a higher SPF, but for daytime, this is my tried and true. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my next video, which will be my nighttime skincare routine, and I'll see you all very, very soon. That's upside down. Why won't it fit? Whoops. Ah! I am just dropping everything today. But the power of editing, yeah, all this just goes away.
And this here purple eyeshadow. Which one is it?
I don't have purple eyeshadow with me.
Why? You didn't.
Do you see any purple in my eyes?
No.
Yeah, so I didn't bring any.
Why you didn't bring purple eyeshadow?
What do I do with this?
Put it on your cheeks.
Oh, on my cheeks? Okay, on my cheeks.
Yes, so I just had this is for your. Yes, now this is for your cheeks.